Good evening and welcome to the Kaplan Center for tonight's women's volleyball match. It's Dig Pink Night, and the #1 Skyline-ranked Manhattanville Valiants are in town to play your Mount St. Mary College Knights for a Skyline Conference clash. As always, my name is Bob Helk, and I will be on the call all my lonesome for this Wednesday evening volleyball action. If Farmingdale was a dragon on Saturday, Manhattanville is a demon tonight on Wednesday. The Valiants 5-0 in conference. The Knights have not beaten the Valiants since September of 2012. Let alone taking a set off of the Valiants, which the last time they did so was October of 2021. So this is not a side the Knights beat frequently whatsoever, though the Knights, hungry off of a massive W against the Rams of Farmingdale, will look to flip the skyline on its head tonight as they take on Manhattanville in the hometown of Newburgh. The Valiants red hot on 3 straight conference wins, with Lauren Hernandez leading the charge with over 200 kills on the year. A monstrous outside hitter. Leads the conference in kills with 81 in conference play. Juliana Simone trails at 4th with 64 in conference play. So stats aside, the Knights will start with the ball. We will get into action pretty quickly here. Sophia Fredericks to get us started, and it's time to party. Hernandez with a swing off rip. That falls on the floorboards. That's 1-0 Manhattanville. Alana Rivera-Torres with the service. Williams with a heavy swing gets dug. A huge swing from Hernandez, and that gets the Valiants 2-0 up. Sidewinding ball goes off into the bleachers there. Torres has herself a service ace. So Knights down 3-0 early here. Trying to find themselves some momentum. A gorgeous float serve finds itself in the floorboards. 4-0 it is. 2 straight service aces for Torres. She's on its air. The junior setter from Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. Clean pass from the Knights. Simone gets a tip up and over. That's going to fall on the floorboard. So Simone gets her first kill in the match. The Knights are off and rolling. Simone coming off a monstrous career-high 23 kills against Farmingdale. She'll be a huge factor in tonight's contest as she will serve the ball far right of your screen. Ball gets shot into the roof. Potential free ball coming over from the Valiants. Gets blocked straight back over. That's down on the floor, and that is a point for the Knights. So Lavelle and Williams there all the way. Brooke Lavelle, 95 kills this year. I was alerted to that for tonight's matchup. She is on pace to be the first middle blocker since 2019 to have a 100-kill season for the Knights. Clean set, a hard swing. And Emily Brown finds one right down Broadway for a kill. 5-2 Valiants. That will send Lauren Hernandez to the line from Talbaja, Puerto Rico. A dart to the back line gets shoved into the floor. 6-2 Valiants. Not an ideal start for the Knights, but not a monumentally horrible start for the Knights. Trying to build some momentum here. Another line drive, pass well. Down Broadway for Lavelle. She takes a swing. That's up high. That one, she's going to get another chance. She pushes one straight back over. Down for the kill. So Lavelle gets herself on the board early. She gets subbed out for Descala. Descala leads the team in blocks. A career high 46 on the year for the young lady. So the middle blockers eat well for the mount. As Aaron Lima, far right of your screen in the all-blue getup, will serve us away. Heavy swing up and out of bounds. Kaylin Caballero, the second kill leader of the squad of Manhattanville, takes a heavy swing. That one's going to trickle out of play. So 4-6 is your score line. Deep service from Lima. Ball's pushed over, stuffed out by the Knights. Williams will get a chance. She lets one rip. That gets dug. Another one snuffed out by the Knights. Setter's out. See what the Knights do here. Back row swing from Simone. She lets one eat. That side's wide, just out of bounds. So Kyle Maynard getting 2 swings there on the opposite side. A little bit of a voice crack. Finally finds a mistake from the Knights. Kayla Jennings on the service in the all-pink get-up. Pass way up high by the Knights. See what they do here. Williams lets one rip. That one gets dug. Shoot ball all the way out wide to Caballero. That gets dug. That's an awkward one. That's not going to get over the net. So Caballero gets up there. She puts one straight through to the Knights side. Knights dig it, but can't quite get it over. 8-4 is your score. Left-handed service. Awkwardly passed. Will be a free ball. See what the Valiants do with this. Ball's pushed over awkwardly. Another tip back and over by Caballero. Another service dipping. That gets snuffed out. Out wide to Pirro. She lets one rip. That one's going to fall up and out of play. So she uncorks one. That gets the Knights back on the board. Pirro, very important first year for this Skylar Kellum side. She finds herself in the rotation quite frequently. Vanessa Seymour checks in here as Janiyah Williams will serve us back into the set. Long ball. Down Broadway gets blocked. We'll try it again. That one gets dug. Back row swing from Williams. She drops one up and over. That's an awkward one. Caballero again with another swing. That one gets deflected up and over. Right down Broadway to Descala. She drops one in. That one's going to fall for a point. So the Knights already standing tall on the front lines here. Much better blocking team than the Valiants are. Another long pass way out wide to Caballero. She lets one rip. She finds some floorboards. So Torres finding her mark once again. Loves that shoot ball out wide. Caballero with a heavy swing up and over the shoulder. So Samantha Andriola checks in here. He's senior from Garden City, South New York. Pretty cool town name there. She hits one long. That's up and out of bounds. So the Knights get the point back right away. Nicolette Pirro on the line to serve with pink headband or ribbons intertwined into her ponytail today. Of course, breast cancer awareness, or as we call it here, dig pink tonight. An awkward service. Missed time just a little bit. Doesn't quite find its way over the net. Ava Robles in for some back row support. Pollack, Robles, and Lima all in for as much defense as possible. A clean pass right down Broadway to Descala. She finds some open space. That's bounced around, and that's another kill. So Lavelle and Dillon checks in here. Dillon's going to get herself a service on the back line. Dillon did not feature at all on Saturday's matchup, so glad to see her back into the rotation today. She drops one into the bucket. Torres with one well out wide. And Hernandez lets one rip. So Lauren Hernandez with a cheeky 241 kills coming into tonight's matchup. Number not to gawk at whatsoever. Simone lets one rip. That gets deflected. We'll try it again. Back to Simone. She gets another rip. She finds some open floorboards. So she gets the retry. She finds a softer swing up and over the top of the block into some open space for a point. So Sophia Fredericks back into the match. Low service. Gets shanked a little bit. An awkward one. Hernandez looking to swing at it, and she still puts it through. So she gets an awkward pass. She lets one eat. That found some floorboards. A couple substitutions for the Valiants. Rivera Torres will find herself back on the service line. 13-9 your score line. Ball pass a little awkwardly. Setters out. Williams will get a swing. She drops one up into the bucket. That's down for a point. 10-13 your score. The Knights are catching up. So Simone, top right of your screen. She'll get herself another service. Coming off the island of the watermark. She drops in well deep. That's an awkward pass. That gets pushed up and over. Lavelle gets one up and over. We'll try it again. Hernandez lets one eat from the back. And that one is down for a point. So that goes off of the outstretched arm of Simone. Hernandez gets herself another kill off the opposite side. So she can do it from anywhere. This girl is legit. So Lauren Hernandez back on the line for the service all by herself. Hits a line drive to the back row. An awkward pass. Setter's going to be out. Simone will get a swing from the back row. Torres on the set. Up top. That gets stuffed out. Setter's out again for the Knights. Williams will get a swing. She tried to drop one up and over the top. That got blocked down. Hernandez back on the line for another service. She tries to drop one in. That gets snuffed out by the Knights. Lavelle right down Broadway. She tries to push one over. That's not going to quite go. Maynard takes a rip. That one's straight into the nylons. The Knights have the point back. Lima steps up to the line. 15-11 your score. Line drive. Will to the back there. Torres gets one up top for Maynard. Maynard lets one rip. That's out of bounds. So a little bit of a back and forth tug of war here. No one quite blowing the doors off the hinges just yet. 15-12. About the midpoint of the set. Deep pass. Shanked a little bit here. Might get a free ball. See what the Knights do with this. Fredericks down Broadway to Descala. She pushes one over. That's awkward. Another swing. Gets dug up by the Knights. Well out wide to Piro. She lets one rip. That falls onto the side of the Knights. So Jennings back on the line. Now I'll pink get up. Left-handed swing. Whoa, deep. Shanked pass. An awkward one. See what the Knights do with this. Williams gets a swing. That one gets pushed straight back over. Setter's out. Free ball pushed over. See what the Valiants do with this. Right down Broadway. Gets dug up by Simone. Deep out to Piro. She's on her own. She drops one into the bucket for a kill. So Cassidy Fallon let one fly off the far side. The leading blocker of Manhattanville, though she got snuffed out by Simone. A gorgeous dig leads to a point for Piro up and over the top of the net. So you take some off, you get a little more. Williams with a line drive to the back row here. Caballero lets one eat up and over the top. That gets snuffed out. Seymour down Broadway to Descala. That gets snuffed out. Throws with another one out to Caballero. That one gets deflected. A little bit off of the line for Piro. She lets one go up and over the net. Caballero gets another chance. That one gets dug awkwardly. That's going to fall down. So the longest rally of the set so far goes the way of the Valiants. The Valiants maintaining their lead. Caballero getting a couple swings on that one. Valiants have their rotation just a tad bit out of order. Jennings is not going to be serving. So she should be subbing out. And Andriola, or whoever is subbing in, should be taking the service. So Andriola is going to be taking service. Just had to figure out where they had to put Jennings, because you're allowed to freely sub your libero. For those who don't know, try and keep this an open broadcast for true fans and non. Seymour with a set up top to Piro. Piro gets a chance. She tips one over. Almost finds another one. A little bit of a free ball for the Knights. See what they do with this. Piro gets another chance. She lets one rip down the line. She's going to find a kill. So she gets shoved around by her teammates. The girls are getting fired up. Piro got herself a double down on that, and she cashed in. So Robles will check in for the service. Very important pinch server for this side. She had quite a few opportunities last week. Skylar Kellum trusting her young defensive specialist to go try and rally some points back. Andriola with a point up and over the top. That's Simone again. She lets one rip. That gets dug up. Out way wide. That got dug down. So Aurea Obradors gets a swing. That trickles down. That's an interesting name. Obradors. Obradors. That took a second. Thank God for phonetic spellings. Thank you to Manhattanville for giving me those. Caballero with a service up top to Descala. She pushes one up and over. That's awkward. Knights will get a free ball. Simone will get a swing. She pushes one up and over. That gets dug. Another one. Back row to Obrador. She puts it into the net. 15-18. So that looked completely coded for Hernandez. That got dropped up top for Obradors. Obradors could not quite find it. So Caitlin Dillon getting subbed back in to get a back row service. She drops in a sidewinder. Heavy block up and over the top. Seymour and Lavelle find one. They fully stuff Fallon. Fallon not getting into the club tonight. Caitlin Dillon back with the service. She gets herself another one. She drops in a deep ball. That gets put in an awkward spot. Gets up top for Hernandez. She lets one rip. A free ball going to get pushed over by the Knights. An amazing rally. Hernandez will get another rip. She lets one eat. That gets deflected up and over. I know, almost another unbelievable free ball from the Knights. Knights are catching up just hardly. 19-16 is your score. An otherworldly deflection and pass over by the Knights to push that first ball over. Hernandez was not going to let that second chance go. She hammered it straight back over. So Ruby Garosby comes in here for the pinch service. Hits a line drive down low. Knights snuff it out. Out wide to Simone. She's all by herself. She finds a kill. That's going to fall into the benches. So the Knights trying to catch up here. Definitely not going out quietly in this first set. A little bit of a back and forth. Wouldn't quite call it a shootout, though it is definitely a tightly contested match. Not all 10s on the scorecard, as they would say in boxing. So Frederick subs back in. The Knights back into their, I believe, most optimal rotation. This is what they started the set in. The Fredericks to get us started back into this. Pass in deep. Up top, gets blocked. An awkward one for the Knights. Tip gets snuffed out. Backdoor for Simone. She lets one rip. That gets snuffed out. Andriola out wide to Hernandez. She lets one rip. That gets dug. Setter is out. Free ball is going to come over. Lavelle wins a joust, and that's going to fall for a point. A sensational dig from Robles on a howitzer from Hernandez. Finds its way up top on the tape. Lavelle's not going to lose that one. 18-19. Knights still looking to get their first tie of the set. Shoot ball well out wide. That gets deflected. Robles with another great dig. Simone will get a swing. She puts one up and over. We'll restart. Back row for Caballero. She's going to find some floorboards. So 20-18 is your score. Some very impressive digs, some very impressive swings. Offense and defense as it ebbs and flows in this first set. Alana Rivera-Torres checking back in. She'll get herself a service on the back line. An awkward pass here. Might be getting a free ball. See what the Valiants do here. Ball was out. They elect to play it. Hernandez will get another swing. She lets one rip. That hit the antenna, so that's a point for the Knights. You can't do that. 19-20 is your score. Simone will resume us here. Far right of your screen. She drops one in off the tee. Jennings read it all the way. That ball gets hammered straight down Broadway by Brown. She found herself by her own. She found herself all alone, and she's going to find a kill. So timeout by Skylar Kellum. We'll take a little bit of a break here. 21-19 is your score. I'll be back in a few seconds. So a slugfest to get us started here. We got 9 seconds and counting left into this timeout. Major playoff implications between these two squads. The Knights number 5 in the conference, Manhattanville, of course, as I mentioned, number 1. So as the horn so rudely interrupts me, Lauren Hernandez will be back on the line for the service. She hits a line drive. That gets dug up well. Lavelle straight down Broadway. That gets dug awkwardly. Caballero will get a swing. That gets blocked straight down into the floor. Williams and Lavelle there all the way. Williams with a huge emote towards her bench. 21-20 is your score. So the Knights come out flaming hot from the timeout. That should be moving Lima to the back row for the service. She'll check in for Lavelle. So the middle's not being tasked with any sort of receiving. They've already done their job enough. The deep pass from Valiance. Caballero will get a swing. She lets one eat. That goes straight off Robles' arms. So a monstrous swing from Caballero. She's playing no games. Jennings back to the line for the service. Top left in bright pink. Left-handed swing floats down. Fredericks well out wide to Williams. She lets one rip over the top. Torres will go on back row to Maynor. Maynor finds the arms of Robles. Williams all on her own. That gets dug up again. Torres out wide to Caballero. She lets one rip. That gets blocked. That's dug up again. Torres getting out again to Caballero. She lets one rip. That gets deflected awkwardly. That's going to be into the bleachers. So 23-20. Manhattanville's pulling away at the last final moment. These long rallies that keep going the way of Manhattanville are coming back to bite the Knights. So another tactical timeout taken by Coach Callum. We'll take another 60 seconds. You won't lose me for 60 seconds. Coach Callum in a sleek pink and white fit for tonight, for tonight's theme. Enough people in the crowd following tonight's theme with their pink. Do appreciate that, guys. You can't see me, but I do have my breast cancer awareness wristband on. I don't own any pink clothing here at school, unfortunately. So, random jokes aside, very tightly contested first set, an exciting first set. The Knights certainly proving to be a difficult test for the Valiants in the first set. The Knights looking to pull one out of the fire to get themselves rolling. The Valiants trying to close up shop and get themselves up 1-0. So the girls keeping themselves loose, having some fun. Jennings will stand on the island, top left of your screen. Just had to check if you can see her because I have the camera next to me. You can. So bright pink number 26. She'll resume us in just a moment. Left-handed line drive finds the arms of Simone. Fredericks up top for Williams. She lets one rip. That falls straight down for a kill. So the tactical timeout looks to work. The Knights get the point right back. Tonight, Williams will move herself to the right-sided island for the service. She lets one rip. That's an awkward pass. Torres puts one up top for Caballero. That gets trickled around. That's going to fall for a point. So set point for Manhattanville. Caballero showing her muscles here in set number 1. Samantha Andriola finds herself to the service line, trying to lock up a 1-0 lead for the Valiants. The black and red to serve the ball. A deep one pushed in awkwardly. Free ball pushed over. See what the Valiants do with this. Up top for Fallon. She sidewinds one out of bounds. So 22-24 is your score. The Knights need 2 to go to a deuce. Robles finds herself on the line. She lets one rip. Knocker one up top. That gets pushed over. That gets dug up. Williams gets a swing up and over the top. That's a knocker one. That might fall. Hernandez finds it. A free ball coming over. See what the Knights do with this. Simone lets one eat. That one's going to fall down. 23-24. The Knights are looking to tie this one up. I have noise cancellation, but man, is this gym loud. Robles gets herself a huge serve here. Finds one into the back row. Andriola up top. Caballero, ow. So she puts one over. Slight error on the back row is going to find Manhattanville winning first set number 1, 25-23. So an exciting one. The Knights certainly fit for the test, looking to slay their demon of 13 years. So we'll get a break. I'll be back in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere, folks. 1-0 Valiants. So we got less than 60 seconds left on the timeout. Caballero and Hernandez finding 6 kills apiece in that first set. He mounts Brooke Lavelle finding 2 kills, so she inches just that much closer to the century mark on kills on the season. So 95 into the night, 2 so far. She needs 3 more to hit the 100 mark. So I'll try my best to keep you guys updated with that, though I don't always know what gets awarded as kills and what isn't. So we got a little less than 30 seconds. Sides have been switched, so the black and red of Manhattanville will be on the right attacking to the left, and vice versa for the white and blue of the Knights. So the senior captain, Erin Lima, getting her girls fired up. Rivera Torres will start the second set with the ball. The Valiants will get the first serve, far right of your screen. And we're back underway. So Knights with miscommunication off the first point. Valiants get up early, 1-0. Always awkward as a setter when you know you're out of reach, but you can't quite get the words "need help" out of your mouth quick enough. So Knights look to recoup here. Pretty pass out wide to Simone. She lets one rip. That gets dug up well. Awkward one. Hernandez lets one rip. That one falls. So both teams kill leaders flexing their muscles here in the second set. Hernandez finding to be more fruitful as Manhattanville leads 2-0. Awkward one for the Knights. Up top for Lavelle. That gets bobbled around. Hernandez will get another swing. She lets one rip. That's out of bounds. So what seems like almost full power from anywhere on the court from Hernandez. Knights catch a little bit of a break. She hits one straight out the back of the end zone. Sophia Fredericks will check in. She will have a service far left of your screen. Drops one well into the back. That gets passed almost in the roof. An awkward one. Andriola will get a swing up and over the top. She's going to find some floorboards. So Lauren Hernandez back on the line. She lets one rip. That gets passed up well. Simone gets one up on the back, and she finds it. So Simone all on her own on the opposite side finds the back corner of the court for a kill. She'll be on the island. She'll have the service. Piero checks in. Nicolette Piero with 3 kills in that first set. Had herself one heck of a go. Couple heavy swings. Line drive dropped in, and Simone gets a service ace. That knots us up at 3 as she froze the back line of Manhattanville. Drops in another light one. Right down Broadway to Brown. That gets deflected up and over. Emily Brown finds the score sheet as she high-fives her tandem, Cassidy Fallon. Kayla Jennings on the line, bottom right of your screen. Crossfire up and over the court. A kick save by Lavelle finds its way up and over the net. Down Broadway to Fallon. That gets blocked. So Lavelle kick saves and gets herself a block. Finding whatever they need to do, the Knights are keeping this game tied. Erin Lima, top left of your screen. She'll get the service. You don't get to see that every day. So that was pretty cool. Heavy ball swung up and over the back line. That's going to give Manhattanville the ball straight back. Samantha Andriola on the line, top right of your screen. Line drive into the back. Setter is somewhat out. Piero gets a swing. She drops one up and over the top. An awkward one. Caballero will get a swing. Hits the antenna, so that's a point for the Knights. An awkward one there. Gets a little tough when he takes such tight angles on the outside. Of course, on a ball behind her, too. Very difficult to keep that where you need it. Seymour checks in for the Knights once again. So Janelle Williams, bottom left of your screen. She'll get the ensuing service. Back set to Caballero gets deflected. Back row swing for Simone. That gets dug well. Out wide, that's going to find itself some floorboards. Oberdors gets herself a kill. Aurea Oberdors, a fun name to say. Not a fun name to see on the score sheet when Manhattanville is up 6-5. Caballero drops one in. Knights snuff it out. Piero will get another swing. She lets one rip. That gets dug up well by Jennings. Oberdors tips one up over the top. That gets snuffed off by the Knights. An awkward one, a free ball coming in here for Manhattanville. They find an awkward pass to it. Oberdors gets another swing, up and over the top. That gets deflected out of play. So she finds herself kills on back-to-back plays. 7-5 is your score. Manhattanville trying to pull away here early. Knights will do everything in their power to obviously not let that happen. Another one dropped into the back, an awkward one. Piro will swing it over the top. Awkward ball down Broadway, gets blocked. Gets pushed back over, a free ball for the Knights. Down Broadway to Descala, that gets deflected for a point. So Fallon took a swing, it got blocked, it got trickled around, it got pushed over. The Knights got themselves a pseudo free ball. And straight out of the practice gym, they got themselves a kill. So Ava Robles will check in here to the back row for service, bottom left of your screen. The ever so trusty pinch server punches one up and over the top. A clean pass from Manhattanville. An awkward swing from Hernandez finds itself over the net. Straight off the tape, I think she hit that left-handed. Doing anything she can just to put it over. Of course, that is what good hitters do. The girl does have almost 250 kills on the season, so you'd figure she would be pretty efficient at getting the ball up and over the net. So Grosby serves one away. Simone will get a swing. She lets one rip. Right down Broadway to Brown. That gets dug up. An awkward one. Williams will get a swing from the back. That's the flex down for a point. So Robles with a great dig off of the deflection. Ball popped up in the air, and Williams let one rip. She found herself a point in the Knights, 7-8, putting the Scala on the line to serve. Up and over the top. That gets deflected around. That'll be a free ball. See what the Valiants do here. Hernandez all on her own. She lets one rip down the line. That monstrous right hand finds itself yet another kill. Torres with the service. That gets trickled around. A free ball to come over from the Knights. See what the Valiant do with this one. Gets dug up. Not quite going to get there. Hernandez gets herself another kill. 10-7 is your score. Rivera Torres with another service. Line drive floater. An awkward one. Simone will get a swing. She drops one up and over the top. Hernandez gets blocked. That gets trickled around. Andriola dropped one up and over the top. The Knights boot the pass. Timeout from Coach Kellum. So 7-11. 7-11 is your score. The Knights will take a little bit of a break here. We'll get 60 seconds, so you'll get 60 seconds away from me right after this. So we'll be resuming here in just a few seconds. Both sides resume their spots on the court. Rivera Torres patiently awaits the signal from the referee to let her resume play. The buzzer sounds. And we're back into the action. Good swing from Simone, gets dug. Hernandez gets a tip up and over the top. That can't quite get dug. So Lauren Hernandez scoring more or less any way she pleases. Manhattanville with a 5-point lead into the midpoint of the set. Lavelle gets one up and over the top. That gets dug up. Setter's out. Hernandez with another swing. She lets one rip to the back. One with a monstrous swing. That's going to fall down for a point. So the Knights getting themselves up off the mat. 8-13. Still down 5. Fredericks subs in here on the back row. She'll get a service. So Knights with 3 front row hitters. Simone Williams and Lavelle looking to get themselves back into this matchup. All offense from the Knights. Heavy block up and over the top. That'll get pushed around. Simone will get a swing. She drops one to the deep back. Jennings gets it up. Andriola gets a swing, and that's going to fall straight down. So she gets a deflection that falls straight out of bounds. Gets herself a kill. That'll strand Hernandez on the back line. She'll get herself a service. Of course, that back row swing still dangerous as ever. Hammers one to the back row. An awkward ball pushed around. Free ball for the Valiants. See what they do with this. Out wide to Caballero. She hammers one straight to the block. So the ever-potent block of Mount St. Mary is looking to be broken up a little bit by the Valiants. All offense as Manhattanville is just brute forcing their way through this second set. Another timeout from the Knights. They'll try and find themselves a rhythm as the Valiants will continue to dance their way through set number 2. So during our break, I know everyone is curious. For this Saturday's matchup against St. Joseph's Brooklyn, another Skyline matchup, you will be losing me for the day. At 12 p.m., you'll have Chloe Graham in the booth to take you through all 3+ sets of action. So the Knights will take on the Bears of Brooklyn, try and find themselves into the playoffs. Next time you'll get me is against Maritime at 6 p.m. on the 5th of November. So as we resume the matchup here, you can set your schedule and mark down the days. You'll be listening to Bob Houck's voice. Hernandez back on the line. Getting herself into rhythm. She gets the signal from the referee. Drops one up and over the top. The Knights get a good pass. Far side for Simone. That gets dug. Good swing out to Caballero. That gets dug. The setter is out. Free ball. Pushed over. See what the Valiants do with this. Andriola gets one up and over the top. So the defense of the Knights getting picked apart here, piece by piece. Second set, far wider in point margin than the first set. 17-8 is your score. The lead has ballooned to 9 points for the Valiants. Williams gets a swing. She does not quite find the kill. Lavelle gets up and over the top. So if that is correct in my mind, there's another kill for Brooke Lavelle, finding herself just a little bit closer to that 100-point margin. I'll get the official update while the sets change, but in the time being, it's 9-17. Juliana Simone with the service. Right down Broadway, up and out of bounds. Emily Brown takes a rip, doesn't quite find the cash she was looking for. So the piggy bank is broken and no savings are found. An awkward pass in the back row. Caballero will get a swing. That gets blocked straight down into the floor. Williams and Lavelle there all the way. They read every ounce of that swing. The high winding passes are going to catch up to you eventually. Tip up and over the top. Caballero figures it out. She gets herself another kill on the day. Caballero and Hernandez running rampant for this Valiance side. Jennings finds herself on the line once again. Pass up and over the top. Piro gets a tip over. That gets snuffed out. Set out wide, Andriola. She takes a rip. That's going to find itself into the hands of Simone. She takes a back row swing. Another set out wide to Caballero. She puts one straight down into the floorboards. Snaps the wrist and finds some open floor. A monstrous swing from the young lady. 19-11 is your score. The Valiants running away with this one in set number 2. A line drive. The Knights find themselves scrambling a bit. Piro takes a swing. That's going to fall into the tape. 20-11 your score. The Knights looking to keep themselves motivated even through the imminent demise of set number 2. A monstrous block from Fallon. So a dummy swing from Lavelle gets snuffed out. Williams gets kill blocked straight back into the floorboards. Valiants continue to go wild in this second set. An unlucky one off the tape. I think I can't even keep up with the amount of points that are being scored. 22-11 the score. Valiants just running away with this one as fast as they can. Another shanked pass in the back row. Valiants 2 points away from going up 2-0. Piro with a heavy swing. She finds some floorboards. So the girl is trying to find some pride late here in set number 2. Lima will get a service on the back row. Knocker one up and over the top. The Knights get it back. Piro gets another swing. That gets dug. Another tip up and over the top by Andriola finds the floor. 24-12 is your score. Andriola on the line for the service. Williams gets blocked again. That ball gets deflected back up into the roof. Piro lets one rip. So she finds herself another point. 13-24 is your score. So down a country mile, the Knights looking to get some momentum going into set number 3. They're not dead yet. John Williams with the service, bottom left of your screen. Ball gets passed around awkwardly. A swing from Oberdors. Right down Broadway for Descala. That one gets snuffed out. Fallon can't quite get it over. That's 4 touches. So the Knights 14-24. Looking for the greatest comeback of all time, down 10 points in set number 2. Another service for Williams. An awkward pass for the Valiants. Swing from Caballero. Gets trickled around. Piro gets another monstrous swing. Setter's out for the Valiants. A tip up and over the top. Jennings taunting towards her bench with full confidence. Valiants up 2-0. So we'll get ourselves a little bit of a break. I'll be back in just a moment here. The Knights down 2-0 on sets. They're looking to get up off the mat. So we're resuming here in just a moment. The Knights trying to prevent a 3-0 sweep. The Valiants trying to secure a 3-0 sweep. Lauren Hernandez with an impressive 12 kills through 2 sets. Caballero with 9. Simone and Piero finding themselves with 6 and 5 kills through 2 sets. The Knights trying to get themselves rolling. So the Knights had themselves in a competitive start to the second set, though it got away from them. So they'll try and combine the initial competitive edge of the second set and the point scoring of the first set to find themselves a win in the third set. There we go. Whole lot of words there all at once. So Knights will start with the ball, both teams in their optimal rotations. Sophia Fredericks, the back row setter, far right of your screen, will serve us into set number 3. Awkward pass early. Hernandez gets herself a swing. That gets deflected. Knuckle run up and over the top. Williams will get a swing. Up and over the top to Brown. That gets deflected straight down. So she sidewinds one off the hands of Lavelle, gets herself a cheeky point. Torres finds herself at the line for the Valiants. Out wide to Williams. She lets one rip. That falls down awkwardly. Tip up and over the top finds the floorboards. So Brown with 2 kills here early. Introducing herself into the set. The Valiants as loud as ever on their sideline. A long pass gets up and over the top. Andriola shoves one straight down, apparently not breaking the plane. So 3-0 early. Manhattanville getting themselves some momentum. Some awkward passes. Hernandez with another swing, and that's killed straight down. So Williams gets her get back. The Knights are down 1-3. They finally tag Hernandez for one. So the 2 sets Hernandez went unchecked. She was running a roost, but finally the Knights snuff her out. Simone with the service. An awkward pass. Potential free ball. The Knights will get themselves a chance to reset. Up top for Lavelle, that gets blocked straight down. So Brown having herself a hot start into this set. Some excessive and obnoxious celebration from Manhattanville. Quite a side, though when you're 5-0 in conference, I suppose you could do whatever you want. Because which wins you games is what wins you games. So Hernandez with the service. Out wide to Williams. That finds itself up and over the top. So as nonchalant as ever, Williams gets herself another kill. 2-4 is your score. Lima will go to the line for the service. Jump serve up and over the top. Pass long. An awkward one. Up and over. The pass gets shot over Caballero's head. The Knights get themselves another point, trying to find a tie into this third set. Caballero gets a heavy swing. That gets dug up by the Knights. An attempted dump, but that gets pushed over by the Knights, so a free ball for the Valiants. Back road, Andriola. She lets one rip. That gets deflected through for a point. Jennings for the service, gets past well. Pascala gets a free swing. That trickles around. An awkward swing from Caballero. So 5-4 is your score. Caballero mistimed just a tad bit. Heavy service from Williams, straight out the back of the end zone. Some defensive substitutions made for Callum and crew. Try and keep themselves in this match early. Andriola on the line for Manhattanville. She stands on the island. The line drive gets passed well. Right down the middle for Scala. Just out of bounds. So a heavy swing from Scala. Finds itself just off the line. Up and over the block. Heavy swing up and over the back line. So the organized chance of Manhattanville apparently psyching out their server. So Robles checks in. The favored pinch server for the Knights. See what we find here. A long service played in. Clean pass. Out wide to Caballero. She lets one rip. An awkward dig falls into the bleachers. So 8-5. Manhattanville maintaining their lead. Izzy Mojica subbing in, I believe, for the first time tonight. We got herself a service, far left of your screen. Gets a service up and off the tape, so she gets herself a service ace. An unlucky break for the Knights. 9-5 is your score. Up 4 is Manhattanville. So she can't get away with it twice. She hits that one straight into the nylon. The Knights get the ball back. 6-9 is your score. To Scala will get herself a service. Not a frequent flyer on the service line, though Callum trusting her tonight. She drops one into an awkward spot. Goes up top for Fallon. That's a heavy swing, and that falls into the back of the court. So Manhattanville, the first in the double digits. The Knights looking to catch up. A few substitutions made. Dominique Sanchez finding herself on the service line. The freshman from Colchester, Connecticut, who went to Bacon Academy. That's pretty funny. Service droops into the back line. A wide out set for Simone. She takes a swing. The Knights trying to get caught up here. Getting notes from a classmate on the days we missed. So the starting rotation of the game, Fredericks into the back row. Ball pushed in deep. Andriola was set up top. Ball gets deflected and falls down. Leah McIntyre in the match gets herself a kill and gets subbed out immediately. So Rivera Torres will come in. She'll get the service. (7-11) your score. Simone takes a heavy swing. She finds the floorboards. 8-11, a ferocious swing from Juliana Simone, trying to get the mount up off the mat. So the mount looking for some life here as we reach the near midway point of the set. Some entertaining ball in store. Simone with the service. An awkward pass. A service ace for Simone. So the Knights catching up just a little bit. The Knights trailing by 2, trying to find themselves a tie point for the first time in this set. Another heavy service gets almost dropped. An awkward ball for Andriola. She pushes one up and over the top. Centers out. See what the Knights do with this. Out wide for Williams. She lets one rip. That gets dug. Out wide again for Andriola. She lets one rip. That gets dug. Pirro will get a chance. She lets one rip. That gets deflected. Up and over the top. And out of play. So it might have fallen out of play for a point. The Knights elect to try and push over the net. To continue the rally, it falls just out of play. An awkward one as always. Hernandez back on the line. She lets one rip straight into the tape. So she speeds up her approach and she finds nothing for it. The Knights back on the prowl. Lima gets another opportunity. Lima drops one in awkwardly. That's a weird ball. That's going to be a free ball for the Knights. See what they do with this. Williams gets a swing. She finds no floorboards. Looked good from here. Just out of play. Manhattanville going to maintain their lead. Damn, did that look good. That was a great cut. It just didn't quite fall the way she wanted it to. Jennings with the service. An awkward dig. Might be a free ball. See what Manhattanville does here. Fallon with a heavy swing up and over the top. That water falls down for a point. Another service, deep service, up and out of play. So 14-11 your score line. There was some confusion for just a tiny bit there. I thought it would have been 13, but I might be lost. I'm not the one on the scorer's table. Williams with the service. Finds one, an awkward one for Torres. Gets one up top for Andriola. Up and out of play. So she lets one eat. That finds itself just off the sideline. The Knights back within 2. So some excitement building here. Fair amount of people in Kaplan. Gym is quite loud. Both sidelines very lively. Torres will up top for Fallon. She hammers one through. Scala's block didn't quite close out as fast as it needed to. Fallon pushed one straight through. Andriola back on the line. Long service into back. Caballero will get a swing. That one's going to find some floorboards. So the Valiants reestablished in their lead. their lead. There we go. Tripping over my words just a tad bit. An awkward ball pushed up and over. A service error for the Knights leads to another Manhattanville point. Manhattanville ballooning the lead to 5. A timeout taken by Mount St. Mary. We'll get 60 seconds of a break. Manhattanville 17, your Knights 12. So the timeout resumed rather quickly here. Adriella still on the island by herself. And we're back underway. A very long service, batted up by the Knights. Pirro will get a tip up and over the top. That's blocked down by Fallon. A line drive into the back row, an awkward one. Pirro will get a chance at it. She'll hit one straight off the antenna. So Manhattanville creeping their way into their 19th point. Pirro gets a swing. That gets dug up high. Back row swing for Hernandez. She finds the back of the court. So Manhattanville into the 20-point mark. Looking to secure a sweep. The Knights looking to make themselves a comeback here late in the third set. Heavy swing by Simone gets dug up. Caballero gets on the chance. That gets dug. Out wide for Pirro. Air Jordan finds a hole and gets a point. So 13-20 is your score line. Robles checks back in. She'll get the rock on the island. So the Knights looking to get themselves up off the mat here, get some momentum going. Out wide, heavy swing up and over the top. McIntyre with a deep swing that would have went out of play, though elected to be played by Robles. It's deflected for a Manhattanville point. Mojica to the back line for the service. Ball played straight out of bounds. So another error on the back row. 22-13 remains the score. Wonderfully made ball for Simone. That gets dug. Hernandez takes a rip. It's 23-13. Manhattanville 2 points away from a 3-0 win on the road. That ball gets shanked to the crowd. Match point for Manhattanville. Back row swing for Williams. That one falls in. Ball blocked and down. Simone and Descala get themselves a kill block. That's going to put Descala back onto the line. So down 10, a mirror of last set. The Knights looking to orchestrate the greatest comeback known to man. Another huge block. Seymour and Lavelle cover up the stitches. And they get themselves another monstrous block on Hernandez. Second time they've caught her this set. The ball hit straight into the nylon. 25-15 is your final. I got caught in the middle of a thought. Your final score today, the Valiants of Manhattanville, 3. The Mount St. Mary College Knights, 0. So the Knights play again this weekend against St. Joseph's Brooklyn. Chloe Graham will be in the booth to take you all the way on that action. In the meantime, thank you so much for making me a part of your Wednesday evening. An unfortunate scoreline at 3-0, though. It's been a pleasure to take you guys through tonight's action. I've been Bob Hauk, and as always, God bless.